Las Vegas Discount.net's the best there is. Save up to 50% on your next Vegas trip. And travel, rental, shows, and tours. Find the deals you're looking for. Las Vegas Discount.net. Las Vegas Discount.net. If you're going to Vegas for deals that are the best, visit Las Vegas Discount.net.
Welcome to humanity. This is our one.
Whatever it takes, we got to say. Whatever it takes is what it took.
This is Brock Lesnar, and you're listening to Fight Net Radio.
Yo, hi, this is Sugar Ray Leonard, and you listen to Fight Net Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to listen to Fight Net Radio.
Lee Harvey Oswald, what's your name? How am I supposed to know you?
This is Frank Shamrock. We're listening to Fight Net Radio.
Hi, this is Tia, the Knockout St. John. You're listening to Fight Net Radio, and there's no way I would ever touch Lee.
This is Chuck Jackson.
I am Stephen Bonner, and you're listening to Fight Net Radio.
Dan Henderson, you're listening to Fight Net Radio.
Everybody, welcome to Fight Net Radio, where Lee's burning every bridge there is out there. All right.
Hi, this is Manny Pacquiao. I'll fight anybody on FightNetRadio.com.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a one-hour television spectacular.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fight Net Radio. lee-honish, Andrew Lomachenko. We'll get started right away, but we're going to talk about championship weekend, which you won't hear our picks literally till after the games, more than likely. But we'll put them on record. It is 8:33 in the morning West Coast time on a Sunday. So we were just getting into it. So we're going to get it out of the way because you guys always say we spend too much time talking about football. Okay, so who do you got today?
All right, Lee. Well, in the NFC, I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles on the plus 3.5. Mm-hmm. I like this game. I think this game is going to be close. I think a field goal is going to determine the outcome of this game. Both defenses really good in the Vikings and the Eagles. So I'm going to lay with the home team on a 3-point field goal and hopefully win on a half a point. And then in the AFC, Lee, I'm taking the Jaguars, dude.
What?
I think it's time for a change. Look, I'm going to tell you why.
Thinking that it's time for a change and Tom Brady blowing out everybody. Like I've heard this argument about Jacksonville being able because they have Tom Coughlin, right, as the general manager. Coughlin's the only man. Yep. Tom Coughlin's the only man to successfully defeat
Brady's bitch, right? That's Brady.
Yeah. With that said, your quarterback is still Blake Bortles.
Doesn't matter. They're going to run the ball and use defense. They're going to
do
but
clock. Isn't Leonard Fournette injured?
No.
He is.
He's not. He's playing today.
I know he's playing, but he's got a bad ankle.
It doesn't matter. Blow his fucking shoot it up, man. Shoot it up.
Well, I've already bet.
What's that money on any given Sunday? Give me another shot, Doc.
I was going to get up
in the locker room.
This is a true story. I was actually up at 5:00 this morning, and I was going to go to Vegas to go watch championship rounds, right, and go bet. And then I went, why would I do that when there's Bovada? So I went online to Bovada. I bet my Jacksonville New England game first. So I've got New England -8, and I parlayed it with the overs. I think we both agree it's going to score over 45.5 points. That's a for sure thing.
No, I took the under. I took the under on that game because I think they're going to dominate the clock, and I think they're going to stop Brady today. They're going to try to make New England's running game beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I don't think they'll succeed.
Okay, let's go backwards. Pittsburgh nearly scored 45 points a week ago.
Yeah, different matchup, different wide receivers. More athletic wide receivers on that team. On the New England Patriots, they're not that athletic on the outside. I think you can do a lot of man-on-man, which is going to free up some double team for Gronk. It's a very good styles matchup for the Jaguars on the Patriots.
Did you actually call this into Vegas and actually make a real bet?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
yes,
my.
I did.
You're an animal.
Yes, I did.
You gotta get. Both. By the way, go on Bovada. It's just as simple.
I took both unders. I took the Eagles and the Jaguars. I took the Jaguars on the money line. And my last reason why, Lee, is because of the report that came out this week that the NFL has 23% less viewership than they did 2 years ago. Let me tell you, Lee, New England was a part of that 2 years ago. They were a part of it last year, and they're here again. It might be time for a change. People might be getting tired of the same story. And I'm not saying calls will go Jacksonville's way. I'm saying calls won't be made on the defensive side of the ball, people. They're going to allow the teams to play it out.
Yeah.
They're going to let it play, and I think that goes into
that
Jacksonville's
was the
favor.
decider in the Rams game for sure. The Rams got jobbed right down to the last play.
That's right. That's right. So that's what I'm leaning on.
And by the way, the Vikings are going to win because it's the best possible NFL story. You know,
I would have took the points, Lee. I would have took the points. Not what you said 8. I see 9 at one point.
Oh yeah, no, I've got New England -8 with the overs, and that's going to pay me about 3-1 on the parlay. And then in the afternoon, I'm going to take Minnesota money line. I don't know about this wacky 3.5 points thing. I think you're right. I think it's a field goal, and I'm taking the unders on the afternoon game. There's no way those two teams are scoring 39 points with those defenses.
With those defenses, the weather, the quarterback.
It's going to be brutal.
But, Foles couldn't really connect on his first game in the weather, too. So I think that's going to replay itself again. And then, the defenses are too good. I'm hoping that's going to be a close one.
Yeah.
We're only getting 38.5 on that.
I got 39. Well, my line this morning on Bovada is 39, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, so here we go.
It'll be fun. And then in 2 weeks, I'll be in Vegas, and I'm going to watch the finals. I've got a friend who's moving out of town. This is like Andrew and I shooting the shit. For all of you listening, fuck it.
I'll even tell you, hey, Lee.
I'm actually going to Vegas in 2 weeks to go watch the Super Bowl I've got a friend who's leaving my area, who's moving away to some shithole in Arizona. And by the way, if you live in Arizona and listen to this show, I think you live in a shithole. I don't think you live in a shithole country. I think you live in a shithole state. I'm just saying it. What is there good about Arizona other than it's hot and dry?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. If you're going to do hot and dry, why wouldn't I go to Vegas? At least they have boxing.
Don't you see a lot of UFOs out there or some shit?
Okay, that's a sales. You and I, okay, for those of you who don't know any better, Andrew and I live in California. Andrew's in the Bay Area, I'm in Southern California, and let me help you out. It's moist and it's 70 degrees year-round most of the days. If we had to count days, most of our days range between 68 and 75 degrees with plenty of moisture in the air. Every single day of the year. We have hot days, we have cold days, but mostly, let's face it, Andrew, it's pretty much always perfect.
The weather is so good in California. When there is a big rainstorm, most of the time people just say, well, we really need it. And that's when you know you're spoiled, Lee. When we really need it. Most places aren't like that. It rains, it snows.
When all
it's not like it snows out in the East Coast and they go, well, we really need it.
Yeah, right. You and I both know, like when the first major storms hit on the East Coast, I think we had a heat wave over here, and it got up to like 75 and 80 degrees.
Yeah. I always love those memes that have like a lawn chair knocked over. It says, we will rebuild.
Yeah, right.
California, we will rebuild.
The hardest hit in all of California was Santa Barbara, and I feel bad for all the rich people who lost their homes to the fires and Oprah's neighbor who lost their house to mud. Oprah's neighbor. I'll say it again. Oprah's neighbor.
I know.
They're alive. Nothing happened to Oprah's neighbor. They just lost their home and lots of stuff to mud. So let me help you out. If you're Oprah's neighbor, I'm pretty sure you can afford to rebuild.
We're getting too close to nature. Is that a good way of saying it?
Santa Barbara's really nice. I don't know.
The Napa fires, Lee. Who thought it was smart to put a house in the middle of a vineyard? I'm just saying, when you look at it.
You know what? It's funny you say that. There's a city called Temecula in Southern California, right? That's on the way down to San Diego. And they actually have vineyards out there. And I've always thought about buying vineyard property in Temecula because there's great golf, and it's about 40 minutes from my daughter. So I've debated it until all the vineyards caught fire and everybody got burned to the ground.
Yeah.
So guess what? I'm going to live near the beach where I've never heard of a fire breaking out. I don't want to sound like a dick at this moment, but the worst thing that happens at the beach, it gets really wet, and you got to buy cars frequently because they rust.
Yeah. Hey, Lee, and before people judge on the making light of these issues, let me tell you, like he was talking about the Oprah Winfrey neighbor. Let me tell you, there was a former Raider who lost his house in Napa, and he goes onto the radio to talk about the devastation. And he says, let me tell you guys, this flame is running faster than Usain Bolt out here. So, I mean, you know, like...
It's bad. It's bad.
But it did not sound like a guy who was devastated. No one really cracks jokes when their
this
house
isn't
is
Houston.
up, right?
You'll never hear me crack a joke about
It's Napa.
Houston
It's Napa.
or Florida or Louisiana. Those people had like real tragedies.
Yeah. These people have real money.
Those,
you know what I mean? Like,
you know those things that happened in Houston and Louisiana and Florida, Andrew, you know why that happened, right? It's because God hates gays.
oh, well, you stop. Here we go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fight Net Radio, where, according to Andrew and Andrew's friends, I have white guilt. That's the greatest thing you ever told me. That's the next T-shirt to come out from Fight Net Radio. White guilt.
I knew it was coming, darn it.
I talked about it all week. It was so good. Okay, so I train at a place that is extremely Hispanic. I'm the whitest guy, bar none, where I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? And I was telling my professor, I'm like, yeah, my co-host told me his friends think I have white guilt. He goes, that's funny. He goes, you might have guilt, but it isn't white. But I digress. Let's talk boxing. That's why you guys listen to the show. And look, we
came back last night, Lee.
It did come back last night. Now, if you listen to this show regularly, and we seem to have a regular group of people now, that I don't even know how you guys listen to it because I can't track the sources on this stuff. We actually have a pretty strong following going into 2018. We're getting our numbers up, and I'm going to say this, and I know you won't believe it. I appreciate all of you in Egypt who listen. So that was a good one. Did you see what I did there? Yes. All right. So yeah, we got our regular numbers again this week. So we've got a pretty regular, steady following of people who listen to the show. So
maybe that's because we don't go on the 4-week vacations anymore. Remember when we used to just like drop off for a few weeks?
Okay, so Andrew knows this, and I probably talked about it on the show. Like, I'm a person in recovery. I've been sober for like 25 years. So I did a recovery show that basically makes fun of recovery. Like, I make no bones about it. Like, it's a cult in my mind. But so I did this recovery show and tested it out for about 18 months last year. It turned into like a cult following without doing additional episodes, and we haven't done an episode in, I don't know, 6 months, it seems. And I'm looking at the numbers for a show that I'm not even advertising, and they might be better than Fight Net Radio's numbers. Go
Very
figure.
Nice.
Now, for anybody listening, if you're interested in everything that gets produced out of our production facilities, it's Perfect Blue Studios. Perfect, BLUE, Studios with an S, .com, and you can see all the shows that we actually produce. The only thing is that we ask on your next Vegas trip, you use LasVegasDiscount.net. It helps me pay to produce such unbelievable content. I have been funding this passion project of Andrew and I for a very long time. And Andrew and I, to be perfectly honest, this is like our... I just saw this. Like, we hit another milestone recently. Some crazy... And since we've been on our newest platform, I think it's 1 million plays or something combined, or some dumbass number. But we really appreciate that. Okay, we just broke... Wait, I'll tell you this. I'll give you the latest show stat for Fight Net Radio. We moved over to this platform. We just did, this will be our 130th episode on Spreaker, and I don't know how long ago we moved over here. And since we've been on Spreaker, we've done close to 1 million, something like that. I don't know.